Well, ain't this a kick in the head, huh? I didn't know I was going to be following a song. I had wits to get something ready. Started the year with me singing at you. You're going to end it with me talking at you. So here we are at last, class of 2016. I'm not sure I want to thank you for this. I have a feeling that a great many of you just wanted to see if I could get through this without saying something controversial. The only thing I can say with any certainty is that you weren't looking for someone to tell you what precious little snowflakes you are. Well, far be it from me to disappoint you on your graduation. As soon-to-be graduates of the Catholic Jesuit School, you've all heard Jesus referred to as the Lamb of God. However, Revelations chapter 5, verse 5 gives us a different image of Jesus. Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, hath prevailed. You see Christ as a lion as well. And it's generally agreed that this passage influenced C.S. Lewis to choose the lion Aslan as his allegorical representation of Christ. If we have asked you to be mindful of times when you should imitate the lamb, I would like today to remind you that you are meant to be lions by God, and that you must never become sheep. You see, when the Pharisees and their allies crucified Christ on Good Friday, they thought they'd killed a lamb. Like Aslan at the stone table, he'd gone to his death like a sheep before the shearers. And the worldly powers supposed that they'd simply slain another one of those rare and oddly troublesome sheep who needed slaughtering from time to time to keep the others in order. But on Easter Sunday, the world learned that it was not a lamb at all that had been hung on the cross. The Lion of Judah roared that day. And that roar has echoed through the ages and rings still across the Bellarmine campus, in the cabins on the encounter, on the trails of the pilgrimage, and beneath the cross on notches. Now, as you go forth from here, you must bear the echoes of that roar in your hearts, if you are to be leaders, if you are to be lions in the world. By now you're probably thinking, Maud and these metaphors. What does he mean, be a lion in the world? So I'm going to talk for a few minutes about what I believe a lion is and what I'm quite certain a lion is not. Fasten your seatbelts, kids. Here we go. And remember, don't try this at home. Lions are self-reliant. They ask for no special treatment or considerations. They know themselves well enough to leverage their strengths and compensate for their weaknesses. And while they welcome and appreciate the help of others, they neither expect nor desire that anything simply be given to them. They know and live by Thomas Paine's assertion that what we obtain too cheap, we value too lightly. Lions are generous. They give of their time and energy to help others. But they are careful and considerate, lest their generosity create dependence and turn others into sheep who cannot do for themselves. They remember, as Cameron C. Taylor has noted, that if you take from a person his responsibility to care for himself, you also take from him the opportunity to be free. Lions are leaders, not rulers. They are never satisfied in a community of sheep who simply follow the crowd blindly, snatching at the latest trend, adopting the latest style, and baaing noisily at anyone who dares to choose a different path. And lions do not allow the braying, thoughtless criticisms of the herd and its often hollow leaders to trouble them. For while they always show respect and consideration for others, lions do not lose sleep over the thoughts of sheep. Lions keep their word. They know that the inevitability of change is not a cause to break or abandon vows, oaths, and promises, but the very reason we made them in the first place. Lions know that what they say and write, the words they choose, matter, and that in each broken promise and every lie there is, as Marlowe knows in Conrad's Heart of Darkness, a taint of death, a flavor of mortality. Lions are courageous. They walk towards danger and into the fire of controversy and adversity in search of truth and real justice. They reject the idea of ideological safe spaces which seek to suppress speech in the name of protecting feelings. Lions remember what every school child used to learn on the playground, that sticks and stones may break our bones, but words can never hurt. They champion and defend the right of every voice to be heard, whether they agree with it or not, knowing that to shout down or intimidate an opposing view is not the path to truth, but the dark road of cowards and bullies. Lions, you see, despise bullies, and bullies are terrified of lions. For lions are seekers and defenders of truth who will not be led by the nose and cannot be threatened into submission. They vigorously defend the free and open expression of all ideas as the only way to ensure the pursuit of truth. Lions, of course, never use force or coercion to impose their views on others, for they know, to paraphrase John Milton, that truth needs no policies or stratagems, no safe spaces, intimidation, censorship, or political correctness to make her victorious. Those are the shifts and defenses that error uses against truth's power. Lions are tolerant, and significantly they know that tolerance and approval are not the same thing, and that while everyone has a right to tolerance, no one can be compelled to give approval. Tolerance must be reciprocal, and while lions show tolerance, understanding, and acceptance of others, they rightfully demand the respect and tolerance to which they too have an undisputed claim. Lions remember that, as Ray Davis writes, tolerance only for those who agree with us is no tolerance at all. Lions are faithful. Like Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane, lions have doubts and even fears, but they refuse to be ruled by them. Lions know that their strength comes ultimately not from themselves, but from a power far, far greater than anything the world can muster against them. For though they rely on themselves, as I have said, the real strength of lions is rooted in their faith in He who even the wind and waves obey. You know me. I will not sugarcoat what lies before you. Your first presidential election will, it seems, be a choice between the two least likable candidates in American history. The hour may seem dark. The forces arrayed against us are many. They wield despair and division, relativism and racism, pride and pomp, vanity and villainy. They promote hubris, for those of you who remember what that is, and hedonism, ignorance and indifference, compromise and corruption. They're seductive and deceptive, wearing the face of goodness and virtue and promising all sorts of things to sheep who fall in line and do as they're told. Yet this is not cause for despair or sadness. You are entering into the adult world at one of those rare and powerful moments for which real heroes, real lions, are made. Dark times and depressing news are, you see, in the words of the poet Percy Shelley, nothing more than graves from which a glorious phantom may burst forth to illuminate our tempestuous day. While the sheep wait around for the end or bicker ceaselessly about who is to blame in such times, lions set about working to fight the darkness in their own way, within their own communities, families, and among their friends. Lions are incapable of despair. They resist the shadow of hopelessness because that is what they were made to do. Not so with sheep. Sheep, you see, listen to the little voices that tell them it's not worth the effort, or someone else will do it. They give in to the inner whispers of doubt and insecurity which say, you can't do this, or it's not that big a deal. If sheep worry so much about things like presidential elections, it is because they have come to believe that they cannot rely on themselves and look instead to someone else, some party or person to make things better for them. Let me assure you, as though I needed to, that our society does not need any more sheep. What we need now, perhaps more than ever, are lions who are made for just such times as these. For lions know that they are royalty, kings and queens in their own right who place their trust in the Almighty. And while, as I said earlier, they do not seek to rule over others, they demand, as their God-given right, the responsibility and freedom to rule over themselves and their property. For lions, elections are primarily about ensuring that nothing threatens the sovereign liberty of anyone, lion or sheep, to fully live out the calling of their lives as they have discerned it. So listen up. Take heart and be glad. Know that God has made you right and just, sufficient to stand, yet free to fall, as Milton puts it. The strength and courage needed to be a lion were given to you at the moment of your creation. You should know by now that whatever tools or skills you may need to stand and fight darkness and ignorance can be found and learned on your own with hard work, industry, and dedication. The task of teachers and parents, properly understood, is to make themselves unnecessary. This is a hard fact for some teachers, I think, and a bittersweet one for parents. The degree to which we are no longer needed is, in fact, the measure of our success. Sheep, like small children, always need someone telling them where to go, what to eat, when to sleep, how to think, speak, and act. You were not made to remain sheep. Your parents did not raise you to be dependent. Your teachers have not taught you so that you can simply join the flock. Though you will shortly become fighting Irish, Huskies, Toreros, Broncos, Buckeyes, or Vikings, and though a time may come when you are asked to go like a lamb for the sake of another, always remember you are not made to be sheep. You are lions, my friends. For God's sake, go forth and act.